month in, month out, I see the same question. Do I need to know ITTOs? How big are ITTOs on the PMP exam or the CAPM exam? Let me give you a quick summary of a brief survey that I send out to my students most of the time after the PMP exam. Students who have taken the PMP exam are often asked this question by me. What would you have done differently if this PMP exam that you just took was a dream and you could actually take it again in reality? What would you do differently knowing what you know now? The most frequent answer that I get is, I would have studied ITTOs a little bit more. I would have tried to know more about my ITTOs, know more about the definitions, know some additional inputs, tools and techniques and outputs. Just know a little bit more compared to what I knew when I went in. I didn't know they were going to be that big. Some people say I should have known the specifics a little bit more. Now, it's not every single student, but majority of the students that I ask this question tell me I would have studied ITTOs a little bit more. So, in order to make sure that doesn't happen to you, make up your mind to really dig deep into ITTOs. Some people say, nah, it wasn't that big of my exam, but I've known other project managers who actually attribute the knowledge of ITTOs to their passing the exam or their lack of knowledge regarding the ITTOs as a reason for failure. And I'm so serious. People have taken our flashcards as a tool to enable them study ITTOs more, master ITTOs after getting beaten up on the exam once or twice. You see, these tools are important. When you are preparing for your exam, it's got to be all about you. When you get into that exam hall, it's not about anyone who said, oh, forget about ITTO, it's just a tiny little subject. Those people are going to be nowhere to be found. It's going to be all you, front and center, all you in that exam hall, in that dingy looking room, because sometimes they look that way. And sometimes you've got the noisy background and people typing. It's going to be you in that room, all alone, trying to figure out, how do I answer this ITTO question? Alright? So, the reason for all that is to let you know we have tools to help you. If you're finding it hard getting ITTOs into your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, because both are important, if you're having trouble, I strongly advise you to look into our PMBOK Guide ITTO study system. This is an invaluable system that gives you so many tools that most of the time students can't use everything. Now, it's from a suite of tools called the ITTO Science series. In the ITTO Science series, we have flashcards, books, and 2 audio CDs. Now, you can get the whole pack, or you could get just the flashcards, which are poker-sized flashcards, or just a book. And this is a 270-page book full of ITTO schematic diagrams. Very good book to get. I actually used that book to study for my CAPM, and boy, did I find gaps in my knowledge when I read that book. In fact, I used that book as a quiz to quiz me and find gaps. So important to find your gaps. So whether you're taking the PMP or the CAPM, you need to know your ITTOs and you need to know them cold. Let's look at some of these tools one by one. First of all, let's talk about ITTO Science Audio Flashcards. It's a 2 CD audio book. This 2 CD audio book is a double CD set, obviously, and it's about 90 minutes per CD, 60 to 90 minutes per CD. It goes into the PMBOK framework, asking you questions and giving you time to answer. and at the end giving you the correct answer. It's an in-depth review of key ITTO definitions. So if there's things you hear that are uncommon to you, such as variance and trend analysis or planning meetings and analysis, and you're not able to figure out what they actually mean in your head or where they're used, this audio series will get you up to speed. So you'll hear the voice asking you the question, you hear beep, and then you will hear the answer. So it'll give you some time to answer the question, and if you can't answer it, you hear the answer at the end. It's a very easy way to learn, invaluable for the road. The next tool is the ITTO Science book. It's a 270-page study guide. This book is filled with very, very relevant schematic displays of ITTOs. ITTOs are placed in the center, so it's an ITTO-centric view of which ITTO goes where. Where did you get the ITTO from? Where's the ITTO going? Now this is totally different from the data flow diagrams in the PMBOK guide. This is very different. This is an ITTO-centric view of ITTOs. So, for example, we could take activity attributes and go into the detail regarding activity attributes, trying to find out where do activity attributes come from and where do activity attributes go. 270 pages. Look at it as an ITTO cheat sheet book. It really shows you each ITTO as an understudy, showing you this ITTO goes here or is used here. And for the tools and techniques, same thing. We look at each tool and technique and try to address where each one goes. So we could take a tool and technique such as decomposition, right, which is really a technique, but they're bunched together as tools and techniques. We take decomposition, and through the data flow diagram, we get to understand where decomposition is used. So it becomes a very invaluable tool for people who need quick references. Now I'm going to show you a few examples of how you can use these ITTO sheets to learn patterns and trends. So the old professor with his test tube has got the special formula to help you understand ITTOs. So we have tables for each of these ITTOs, but in addition to that we have these data flow diagrams. So for example, activity attributes is an input to which processes. This is what the book would look like. When you open up a page, the aim is to know everything that falls below the headline. So the headline is activity attributes input. In other words, activity attributes is an input to which processes. And the image would look like this. So activity attributes is an input. You can see it leading in to sequence activities, estimate activity resources, estimate activity durations, and develop schedule. So that's a great way of summarizing very quickly at a snapshot where activity attributes are used. Why do you have to sift through the volume in the PMBOK guide when it's all in this book for you? All you do is flip to the page. The work's already done. So this is an invaluable tool for people who really want to get into ITTOs. If you're having trouble or you feel you're not up to snuff with it, absolutely get this book. Here's another example. Selected sellers. It shows you that selected sellers is an output of conduct procurements. And you'll be absolutely amazed how many errors in your thinking or in your conceptualization of ITTOs you will find through reading this book. I couldn't believe how many ITTOs I thought I knew until I began to test myself with this book, and I'm like, goodness gracious, I need to get myself together and do some work and learn these ITTOs. So I actually went through the book a number of times, did some tests a number of times by covering the image and looking at the headline and trying to guess what was there in the image, and it worked wonders. I went for my exam. It was a CAPM exam. Walk in the park when I came across these ITTOs. In fact, they looked so easy to me because I had gone through this process of studying ITTOs. Same thing for the PMP exam. If I had this book during my time, I would have studied it for the PMP. You see, I did my CAPM after my PMP, and that's why I was able to use this tool, but it's invaluable. Another example, seller proposals is an output of, well, it's not an output of any process, but it comes from sellers. So you do need to know these little bits. Another one here, work performance measurement, is an output of 3 processes: control scope, control schedule, and control cost. But it's hard to glean that information without it in front of you in this format. Why go through all the pressure of doing that work on your own? You need to maximize your time and spend that time studying, not compiling notes and additional information that's already in documents like this. So, go to Praizion.com. You will find this book there, which is ultimately on Amazon. You can get it from Amazon. Great book to use. Now finally, in the last in the suite of ITTO Science is ITTO Science Flashcards. ITTO Science Flashcards, great tool for people who are on the road, on the go. People who like to hold something in hand, take a look, read, and then take another one. So you don't have to, lug about a huge book. There are 180 flashcards, but you can take 10, 20, 30 a day. Know those flashcards for the day. It covers process groups, covers knowledge areas, covers ITTO definition. So you could have randomized questions more or less. And the cards are very colorful and rather entertaining to look at. They're portable and it comes in a box. Great study tool. So ultimately, my advice is find a solution that works for ITTOs. This solution will help you with your inputs, tools and techniques, and output. Now, last thing I'll show you is our website for ITTOs. We have a website, and it's the ITTO Science website. And the old professor's there, and he's got some good tools to help you out for your exam prep. We've got scores of tools that you can use, quizzes, tests. So let me show you very quickly how this looks. If you take a look here, you can see ITTO Science. This is the web page. We've got videos. We've got, in addition to videos, web labs for the videos. These will really push you to the limit as far as ITTOs. This is nothing but ITTO videos, ITTO games, ITTO tools, ITTO brain teasers, and so on. So if you wanted to get any of these, simply go to Praizion.com, scroll down a little bit, and look for the old professor. There he is. And all you need to do is click on either the flashcards for the poker flashcards, or the audio CD if you want the ITTO Science audio CD, or the book, which is absolutely phenomenal. That book was a lifesaver. If you want to get any of those tools, you know where to go. And finally, talking about changes that are coming down the pike. If you haven't already realized that the PMP exam is changing, realize it now. It is changing. Another very important tool to be aware of is PMP exam content review. It's a double CD set. It's a knowledge bridge between the old and the new exam. So if you've got tons of materials that you've already bought to study for the exam, don't waste your money. Don't throw them away. What you need is a bridge to bridge the gap between what you knew previously and what you need to know for the future exam, starting on the 31st of August. Alright? So, I strongly advise you to take your ITTO study seriously and take the changes that are coming in August seriously. So if you are not able to take the current exam, grab a copy of PMP Exam Content Review. All the best in your study. Remember, no pain, no gain. Put the pressure where it's going to hurt the exam. Don't let the exam hurt you.